In this video, I'll be discussing how to graph multiple lines in a single plot in Microsoft Excel. This will be useful for the SALT Solutions experiment in College Chemistry 1. I have a sample data set here, and this represents infant growth charts. So I'm looking at the age of the baby in months. That's my X variable in column A. And I've got three groups here, and the three groups that I'm looking at are percentiles for weight. The babies who are a little bit lower than average in the 10th percentile, I'm looking at their weight in pounds. Also, the babies that are around average in the 50th percentile, their weight in pounds. And then in the 90th percentile group, these are the babies that are bigger than average. I want to plot these three groups on the same graph. To do that, I'm going to enter my data so that the X, the age of the baby, is in the far left column, and then I list out those three Y variables in the columns coming after. That way Microsoft Excel will automatically recognize my groups as being Y1, Y2, Y3 in columns B, C, and D. So I'm going to select my data, just the points that I want to graph. I'm selecting everything right off the bat. I'm going to go to the tab where it says Insert, and I'm looking for this icon here where I've got the points and I want to insert a scatter plot, and I'm looking at this top icon where I just have the dots and no lines connecting them. So now you can see I've got my three data sets all in the same plot, and I just have points at this point in time. I want to add a chart title, so I'm clicking on this icon. I'm going to type into the window, and I want to just call this Infant Growth Chart. Next, I want to label my axes. I'm going to come up to this icon here where it says Add Chart Element, and here I can add my horizontal axis title and my vertical axis title. My X variable, my horizontal axis, is the age of the baby in months. So I'm going to write age, and my unit here is months. For my Y variable, I'm looking at the baby's weight in pounds. So for this, I'm going to type weight, and my units here are pounds. I've got my three different groups, and to help me keep track of my three groups on this chart, I want to edit my series so that instead of just saying Series 1, it's telling me what the group is for the chart that I'm looking at. So in this case, I want Series 1 to say 10%, so I know that that's the 10th percentile. I am going to come up to this icon on the top where it says Select Data. And I get this window here where it gives me the opportunity to edit the names of my series. So I'm going to go to Series 1 and click Edit. And I'm going to change the name of that to 10% for the 10th percentile group. And I'm going to keep doing that for Series 2. I'm going to edit it and change the name to 50th percentile. And for Series 3, I'm going to edit that, and that's going to be my 90th percentile group. I'm going to click OK to edit out, to exit out of this window here. I'm back at my graph, and now I can see those labels for the different color points on my graph. The thing that I want to add here, and the thing that you guys are going to need for your SALT Solutions graph, is I need a trend line for each of my groups. I am going to act as if this data is linear. I know it's not perfectly linear, but I do want a linear trend line, a line of best fit, for each of my three groups. To do that, I'm going to select the data points that I want the trend line for. And I can either go to this window here where I find the menu for trend line, and I am going to add a linear trend line for this group, and you can see that it's blue. I want to format my trend line, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going back to this window here where it says trend line, and all the way at the bottom where it says more trend line options, I'm going to have that window pop on the right, and this is where I can display an equation on the chart and display that R² value on the chart. Now here's the thing where you need to be careful and stay organized with your plot. I first clicked on my 10th percentile group on my blue points, and I've got my line of best fit for just that group. Here's the equation of my line and the r-squared value for my line. To help me keep track and remember that this is for the 10th percentile group, I'm going to click in this text box and type that there. So I'm going to click down and I'm going to write 10th percentile to help me keep track of my trend line data. I can also click on this window and move it so that the text and the equation of the line is not on top of my points on the graph, so that I can see that line of best fit. I'm going to do this again, so now I'm going to click on my 50th percentile group. I want to add a trend line, so I'll come over here, I'll add a linear trend line. I want more trend line options so I can display the equation on the chart. So I'm going to go to my right window here. I'm clicking on the box to display the equation on the chart, display that r-squared value on the chart. I should mention for this graph here, it doesn't make sense to force those lines through 0 because, let's see, the baby weighed more than 0 pounds when it was born. So to force that data through 0, 0 for this graph really wouldn't make sense. This is my 50th percentile group, so I'm typing in that text window to indicate which line I'm talking about for the equation for my line of best fit. So you're going to see that I'm going to have 3 equations for the 3 different lines of best fit that I have on the graph. I have one more to do here. I'm clicking on the green data points for my 90th percentile group. I want to add a line of best fit, so I'm going to my trend line option here. I'm going to linear. I want to format the new trend line that I just added. I want to scroll down, display the equation and the r-squared value on my chart. Again, I want to type in this text box here to label which equation matches up with which line and which group. So this right here is my 90th percentile group. So when you guys make your graph for the Salt Solution Lab, you're going to have 5 lines on a single plot. You're going to want to have those 5 lines and also 5 equations for the lines of best fit. Be careful to keep track of which equation matches up with which line of best fit. I hope this video helps you prepare your graph for the Salt Solutions Lab.